Welcome to Beyond My Crisis. I'm your host, Ron Rosnick.
And I'm Vivian Gaspar. 1 in 4 Americans are still paying off their student loan debt, their own, and then, of course, it's to help their children. If you do not have a clear-cut direction in college as to what direction to go in, that can cost you an immense amount of money for many, many years to come. We have an amazing guest with us today. John Philip Festa has done so much to help people with what direction they really can take their career in.
John is a graduate of St. John University Physician Assistant Program. He was voted New Jersey's Outstanding Public Education Physician Assistant. His new book, Reveal the Physician Assistant Within, comprises the techniques and skills he developed over the past 6 years from helping aspiring PA students get accepted to PA school.
John, that is a mouthful, but luckily, because you love your career so much, you've actually done something about it. And how many people have you helped so far?
We've helped over 100 students prepare for their PA school interview and their application process.
The student loan crisis is in the news quite a bit. What can you tell us about what's going on? Is this a problem?
Well, yes, as was mentioned, 1 in 4 Americans are still paying off their student loans. And in fact, the student loan is the highest volume of contiguous loan, a consumer loan out there. It has grown by 157% over the last 10 years. Compared to, say, auto debt, people who take out auto loans, that has grown 57% over the last 10 years. And mortgage loans, actually the volume of mortgage loans has gone down by 1%. So the student loan is a very serious problem. The other thing is that income-based loans like you and I would take are based on our income to debt ratio, for example.
Right.
Whereas student loans are not based on that because students don't have an income. So it's based on potential, but
Future, yeah.
but not measured really, because, for example, delinquencies counterintuitively of 5-digit student loans, like 50,000 or 75,000, are actually higher than they are for 6-digit student loans. And the reason is because the 6-digit student loans are usually for professional programs.
That are high
med
income
school,
earners.
right? Better, higher return on income, on investment rather, and also they then can pay their loans off much easier.
Are we talking about a potential banking crisis then?
Well, you know, the Fed has warned about that.
Wow.
So yeah, that's a possibility, but it would not be the same as the mortgage crisis we faced in 2007.
Well, but you're saying, so for example, the people who have the 6-digit student loans are doctors, lawyers,
Physician assistant.
It's going to be people who have the better ability to pay those loans back on an ongoing basis, because obviously you're saying that it's worse than the mortgage crisis in a way, because when someone does a bankruptcy, student loans, aren't they exempt from bankruptcies?
They are exempt from bankruptcies if they're backed by the government. But student loans are actually over 10% of student loans are in delinquency of over 90 days, which is huge, a huge amount of money. And again, that growth in the amount of loans taken out, 157% over the last 10 years, is incredible. It's tremendous.
157%. Just
Yeah.
think about those numbers. And so I really think that from what you were explaining, to know the direction that you're going in life and to be, especially a medical professional, is one of those great ways to curb that potential long-standing problem.
Sure, yeah. In fact, U.S. News and World Report billed the health professions as the top profession to get into as far as security and sort of recession resistance. And of the professions in healthcare, Forbes actually rated the physician assistant profession #1 in the top 10 professions.
Wow.
More than a nurse, more than a surgeon or an MD. Why?
#1.
Because the return on investment is higher,
Exactly.
right?
Because, yes, exactly, Ron. Physicians, if you go to med school, you're talking about a $300,000 to $400,000 student loan, basically. Whereas for PA school, it's about $100,000. Physicians, on average, and this is nationally average, and it's all specialties, including general practice or family practice, make about $200,000 a year to start. PAs make about $100,000 a year. PA school, the student loan's about $100,000. So it's a 1-to-1 ratio.
And you see this is a trend that's going to be stronger income earners for physician assistant? Are the loans going to get more expensive for them?
Well, in general, it's not the loans not for
Out of
physician
proportion,
assistants. Student loans across the board have been going up. They were, I think, at 5% last year, and this year they were at 6.6%.
And what does that mean to the general public and to the students? And
Well, it means that their amount of debt they have is increasing more than they thought it would have. As far as what it means to the public,
ramifications.
right? The ramifications for the economy at large. We find that 16% of young working people are still living at home.
Wow.
They're delaying starting families. They're delaying buying a home or a condo, and all those consumer goods that go with that and services are also delayed. And so it has a ripple effect throughout the economy.
Is that why a lot of people have said that if somebody can choose the right career path initially, instead of changing majors, that is also another way to reduce their overall student debt. When you change a major, it's as if you wasted all the monies that you intended for that major, and now you're redoing it in a different direction.
we're
So
going
if
to talk about career change when we come back.
right after this.
We provide is the experience that physician assistant pre-PA students need. The success rate of our program of having students accepted to PA school is 97%. All our students we have relationships with. Many of our students come back and help out. There's a lot of different challenges, but the students, we have to rapport with them, and they're like our children. They really are.
Welcome back to Beyond My Crisis, and we're back with John Philip Festa, and he actually brought with him a student of his is Daniel Hernandez. And Daniel, we're very grateful that you were able to make it in, because we'd like to hear from you firsthand.
Yeah.
What happened? How did you get here?
What made you decide to enroll in the Excell program?
So actually, I work for Hackensack Hospital. I'm an EMT in Hackensack Hospital. And I did a couple of shadowing time with one of the PAs there, and he knew John firsthand. So he recommended me to visit the website and start an application. And when I looked at his website, I liked what I saw, his statistics towards getting into PA school, and sent in my application, and we met. I think he liked me, right? Because he let me in. So,
But wait, you said you were an EMT.
Yeah.
Did you always want to be a PA versus a nurse versus a doctor? What made you choose to go the PA route?
So initially, I've been an EMT for 3 years now. So not too long, 2015. I didn't really know much about the PA route starting off. I did my research, and I just really like how the PA route has so much, lateral mobility when it comes to like specialties. With an MD, versus an MD where you have to kind of pick your specialization right away.
Let's explain. What do you mean by what you said, the lateral mobility?
Being able to jump into different specialties. You're not really focused on one. Yeah. So I like the fact that, I can get into, emergency medicine. And then a couple years down the line, I would want to go into, either family medicine or surgery.
Oh, so it gives you a lot of flexibility.
That's the most important thing for me, I think. Because I have a personality where I like to learn about as much as I can, basically, right? So I don't want to just focus on one thing. I want to be able to, be well-rounded in every aspect of medicine. So.
Did you consider being a doctor before this?
I did, for not for too long. But I did, yeah, because I did start a little bit later. Mm-hmm. So with being a doctor, I think that would have taken a lot more time, and I'm just very eager to, get into the clinical work.
So how's your experience so far?
What do you think of the program and John's tutelage?
The Excell program, I enjoy it. I think it's actually been very exciting for me. The PA that he set me up with, Smadar, she's excellent. She's such a great teacher, and having her, mentor me, she's very positive with me and is telling me that I'm gonna get into PA school. She has me working with the patients and everything.
So what's been the biggest learning experience that you've had from being in the program? What were you before, and what did you develop?
I think I like to say I developed my patient contact skills and my rapport with them.
Great.
Because as an EMT, you know, you see your patients at like right away, but when you see them, you're seeing them at their worst almost, right? They call 911, we get there, we bring them to the hospital. You kind of say bye. It's just a short interaction. What the Excell program helped me do now is see those people progress. And I think that's like the whole thing about being a PA is just, you know, maintaining that connection with your patient and watching them get better and better. And so far in these 5 weeks, I've actually had patients come into these facilities when they first get there, and I've sat with them through their entire therapy and seen them discharge and go home, and they've already been like, you know, it was really nice to meet you, and I'm so glad you were here with me throughout this process.
So
How does
part
that
of-
even make you feel? That must be a great feeling.
It really was, and I haven't had that feeling until this program because, like I said, it was such a short connection with your patients. You say bye, wish you the best, but now you actually get to sit there and watch them heal.
This program really gets you interactive with human beings. This is not just in the book, like just reading things.
Yeah, it's not just, you know, learning. You sit in school and you learn about this thing and they tell you what you're gonna encounter, but this is actually like face to face. This is what I expect the PA route to show me, and so far I really like what
Great.
what
Would
I'm
you
experiencing.
recommend this to a friend?
I've already recommended it to about 3 friends.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
a fantastic
I haven't told them
testimonial.
yet, but I'll
Oh, and congratulations, John.
Yeah.
You're apparently getting 3 more
And
referrals.
these are people that are EMTs. So this is this an EMT?
2 of them are, and 1 or 2 others right now are in school with me.
Well, thank you for
So-
helping us set John up for a nice surprise on
But-
set.
But the
Yeah.
point is, like a path for an EMT, the next step for an EMT, in your view, in your friend's view, would be a PA program versus a doctor or a nurse.
Well, the EMTs that I've spoken to already are in the same mindset that I have. They want to be a PA. I have EMT coworkers that want to be doctors as well. I'm not trying to convince them to, you know, switch or anything, but the ones that want to be PAs, I let them know about the program because
Right.
they
Thank you.
For the ones who want to be doctors, do you ever give them the, by the way, it's great that you want to be a doctor, but let me just tell you why I'm choosing to be a PA, and here's the contrast. And maybe they'll see that maybe it's a better choice for them that way.
It's actually been the other way around, where my coworker who wants to be a doctor tells me, "Why don't you be a doctor?" It's not usually me telling them, "Why don't you be a PA?" And he's like, "I honestly think, you know, you're smart enough to become a doctor." And then he says, "Well, I'm not, like, no offense, you know."
Yeah, I hope you straighten that out.
Yeah.
because
Help you
we have-
enlighten them.
We take the same classes that the doctors do. It's just
Exactly.
It's a matter of as PAs, you don't have to run a business. Whereas as a physician, you're running a practice. You have to worry about workers' comp. You have to worry about benefits. You have to worry about staffing,
So you have
rent.
less cost, and you're still on a 6-figure income track.
Yeah, I mean, we practice medicine. That's what we do, and we don't have to worry about the business end of it.
So
And I
just
think that's a big reason why a lot of students prefer to be a physician assistant. The other thing was the lateral movement that Danny was talking about. You know, a physician, once they've chosen their residency, that's the specialty they're in. There's no changing it, unless they go into another residency. Whereas physician assistants are trained in every area of medicine, and we actually can change practice settings if we want to, and specialties. For example, when you're, you know, Danny's age, you might like to do cardiothoracic surgery and work 60 hours a week, plus carry a, we used to say carry a pager, and carry your cell phone, be married to your cell phone, and get called in. And then when you're my age, you're like, you know, this was great, but I've had enough of this, so I can transfer, I can switch specialties and work in cardiology, which is a great transition for that, but I could also go work in dermatology.
So when you're ready to have a family, you can change, as your lifestyle changes, the career will change for you.
You could do, that option.
But
Yeah.
to recap, what overall, so for example, you're down the line, you're looking to change. What does a PA make at, let's say, 10 years down the line, on average?
Okay, so the starting salary for physician assistant is about $111,000 nationally, average starting salary. I know PAs that are making over $200,000.
At about 10 years down the line? Because
Yeah,
now we're
so-
talking about the transitional focus.
Yeah.
It's almost nonsensical to become a doctor at that.
Well, we're not trying to discourage people from ever being a doctor.
Each has their function. Yeah, we're definitely not, you know, looking to discourage that as well, of course. But the point is, there's another option, and we're clinicians, just so physicians.
I also hear that it's now more cost effective for clinics like Med Express to use PAs rather than doctors because of the economics of how the insurance companies are paying.
Yeah.
health institutions, they're able to see a bigger profit by paying a PA versus having doctors on.
Is that why there's a larger demand for graduates, actual PAs, to get jobs?
Yeah,
Easier to get the actual paying jobs.
Sure, there's a huge demand for physician assistants, and yes, we do work in a lot of those areas. We can work really, PAs can work in any clinical setting, hospitals, subacute centers, offices, minute clinics as well. And, you know, the AAPA has stated that research and surveys have shown that patients are as satisfied and receive the same quality of care from PAs as they do from MDs.
I've been seen by a PA, and if I didn't know about your program, I had the same care as it would have been with a doctor.
On that note, we really ought to take another break and come back and speak to John Philip Festa some more on what is the real benefit in understanding the route of becoming a PA.
I help people start their businesses or fine-tune their businesses, and I upgrade this business to one that I have fun in again.
Welcome back to Beyond My Crisis. We're still here with John Philip Festa talking about the pre-PA Excell Clerkship Program. It's a mouthful. Why would someone come into the clerkship program or another program in deciding a new midlife career? What's the benefit of this?
Well, the physician assistant profession is actually a great career for a career change. I've had students from, of course, college-age students, and in fact, the youngest student I have is from 17 years old,
Wow.
who was in the accelerated program, to 54 years old.
Wow, what a large gap.
Yep, and the reason why it's a great option for someone who's changing a career midlife is that the return on investment is tremendous. You're not going for just another degree where you're starting at a entry-level 5-digit salary. As a PA, you'll get average starting salary is about $111,000.
Which is great for a 17-year-old and even for someone in their 50s. So it's a great range
It's
of...
a fantastic for a 17-year-old. And again, like you said,
But respectable for the
someone in their
50-something-year-old.
Respectable, and again, there's going to be increase in that with experience.
Right.
So that's the return on investment is the main reason, and of course, you're doing something that's meaningful.
That is, I think, one of the best reasons is that they're cutting down both the expense and the duration of how long they have to be in school to get to the goal of then start practicing. So can you please recap how long are they actually in school for becoming a PA versus a medical doctor?
Sure. Well, as of 2020, all PA programs will be master's level. They virtually all are now. So you need the bachelor's degree, and then it's a 2 or 3 year program, depending on the program you're going to. So if you already have a bachelor's degree and you've had the sciences, or you can always add the sciences if you had to a little at a time, if you were doing a change of career, then the program itself is 27 to 36 months.
Mm-hmm.
And to become, if you already had a bachelor's, and then you decide you want to go to become an MD, how long is that schooling?
So for a physician, for MD, it's 3 years of medical school after your bachelor's, and then at least three more years of residency. For
So we're-
just general, family
So it's double the
practice.
amount of schooling.
Right.
Well, it
If you
could
wanna
be more
a-
than double.
Sure, you want to be a neurosurgeon, you're talking about 12 years of residency.
But let's say if you just want to be an MD versus a PA, so you're talking about between 2.5 to 3 years to become a PA, but you said upwards of 6 years to be an MD.
Correct.
Right. And a neurosurgeon at 54 years old, you're not going to be on a 12-year track for a career.
The competition would just be too much at that point.
Wow.
So what's important is, as any business would, you're an intelligent man who's created an amazing program, and it's helped so many already. And not to mention the trickle effect of how many patients they'll be helping during their careers. So what have you done to evolve your business in the last few months alone?
Okay, well, one of the things that I noticed, we always listen to our students, our applicants. When we do seminars, we pay attention to their needs as well. And we've had some questions about EOM students which are students that have financial aid, basically, underserved students, underprivileged, if you will. And what I have done with Excell is we've developed basically an installment program where you no longer have to pay for the program up front or even during the program duration. The program is only 4 months long, so we usually would have payments during that 4-month period. We've now extended that to run 12 months, making it a lot more affordable
Wow.
and easier to handle.
So it's accessible to any income class now.
Yes.
Basically, 12 months to pay is
Exactly.
very affordable.
And also we've worked a partnership out with the Physician Assistant Mentor Association, where they will offer a scholarship to students in the amount of $500 as a credit to the program tuition. So the only thing the student has to do to apply is write a decent essay on why they want to be a physician assistant and submit it online to the Physician Assistant Mentor Association.
Wow, great.
Yeah.
And haven't you, I know you have a lot of heart in why you're doing what you're doing. Have this led you to any philanthropic aspects of what you do?
Sure. Well, one of the things that we're doing is I'm compiling a series of books called The Inspired, and it is stories from PA students that help them achieve their dreams. And basically it is their journal stories of the experiences they've had with patients, and we're setting up a series of them. First volume should be coming out very soon, and any profits from this sales of these books will be going to set up a scholarship to assist students to go on to medical missions.
Fantastic, really.
John,
thank you so much.
It's been such a pleasure. I love that you're showing people alternatives, and it's a very unique opportunity that you're providing people to really reach their dreams of being in the medical industry by giving them a little bit more insight and a leg up. I mean, to go into something where there's only a 4.5% likelihood of acceptance to, I think you had mentioned that you bring them up to a 97 to 99%.
That's tremendous.
I
That's
mean,
almost
it's
unbelievable.
unbelievable. I mean, obviously you can't put a guarantee because you're not going to literally crawl inside their body and get them accepted, but that's virtually what you're doing. So thank you so much for making such a difference, and it's been a pleasure having you on Beyond My Crisis with Ron and Vivian.